Chers auditeurs, bonjour. Ici Youenn pour vous présenter ce podcast dans lequel on parle sport, voyage, études et même développement personnel. L'épisode du jour est un peu particulier puisqu'il va être réalisé à la fois en anglais et en français. En effet, aujourd'hui j'ai le plaisir d'accueillir Harry Mulholland, étudiant irlandais à l'université de Galway, qui est en échange universitaire à La Rochelle cette année. Welcome Harry, how are you?
Oui, c'est moi. Hello, I'm Harry, and yeah, I'm great.
Okay, nice. So it's particular because it's the first time I will do a podcast in English, but I think it's the first time you are doing a podcast.
It is my first podcast
So
appearance.
in English and in French.
So in English and in French.
Okay,
so
nice.
It's gonna be interesting.
So first of all, could you present yourself and where you're coming from and what you are doing in France?
So yeah, my name is Harry Mulholland, and I'm studying here in La Rochelle as an Erasmus student on an exchange from the University of Galway. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun here. I'm really enjoying my time, and yeah, I can't wait.
And it's the first time you're going abroad to study?
Yes, this is my first study abroad experience. So I'm in my third year in university, and it's quite common in Ireland for the third year of university to be an exchange kind of a year. So I was really lucky. I landed in La Rochelle, and I'm studying French. Well, I'm trying anyways.
Nice.
So that's my story, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you what are you studying? So it's French. So I think you're learning like French literature, French
Yes.
cinema.
Yeah. So French literature, cinema, that kind, like theater is also a part of my degree. But I came over here to study the language. Really, is the main thing, and I also have a dual degree. So my second subject is l'informatique. So it's computer science kind of.
And why did you want to learn French language? Because like we all know that it's tough to learn French, even for French people.
Yes.
But why? It
is difficult, but I suppose I studied it in secondary school back in Ireland, and I really enjoyed it. It's a great language, and just coming over, I had been in France before, and the language really kind of interested me. The French culture is interesting to me, all of that. So that's kind of why I chose it as one of my 3 subjects going into university. But then after 1 year, I did drop law, but I kept French and IT. So I'm really happy I did.
Okay, so you stay 1 year. So
Yeah.
we arrive at the end of the first semester. How was it?
It was really just incredible, to be honest. Like, I can't recommend an Erasmus exchange enough. It was so fun. The university aspect of things was a little difficult, a little challenging. But no, it's been one of the best half years of my life. Like, I've had so much fun over here, made so many different connections and relationships with different people, and it's just been amazing. Yeah.
Nice. Good to hear. And as I explained before, we will try to do the podcast, so most of it in English, but we will
Yes.
try in French. So you are learning French now since a few months.
Yes.
Can you speak a bit French?
Oui, je peux parler un peu, mais pour la plupart, je le trouve difficile de parler, mais je l'étudie à l'université, donc je dois essayer de temps en temps de parler avec mes amis, et ouais, j'ai fait un peu d'amis français ici, et ouais.
Et c'est la première fois que tu viens en France?
Non, c'est pas la première fois. J'ai été ici il y a quelques ans pour les voyages avec ma famille, mais c'est ma première fois habiter autour d'Irlande, non?
En dehors.
En dehors
En dehors
d'Irlande.
de l'Irlande.
Pardon.
Très bien. Non, mais c'est bien. C'est practice makes perfect.
Oui, c'est ça.
And what's the first? Let's get back to English.
Sure.
What's the first cultural shock you had when you arrived in France?
That's a difficult question. To me, the culture has not been a massive change. I think I think for different nationalities, it might be a bigger shock than it is for Irish people. Like, first of all, the stereotype of French people is not true in the slightest for me. Like I've met so many great people. Like, the culture has been like a nice kind of a crossover. It's been quite similar, so I don't really have much to add to that. Not really, yeah, sorry. I don't have much of a culture shock experience.
You just talked about stereotypes. What did you hear about France and French people before coming in France? I think I know what type of stereotypes you heard, but
oh God,
can you talk about it?
Well, it wasn't all great, to be honest. The stereotypes are not they're not very positive.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, in the UK and in Ireland, there's a clear common stereotype that French people are not the friendliest. They're quite unfriendly, but
it's only in Paris.
Yeah, I heard that over here actually.
So talking about Paris, you've been to Paris a few days ago.
Yes.
And for the fun fact, you left Paris the day before the reopening of the Cathedral Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yes.
So how was Paris?
It was really quite good. I really enjoyed Paris. I've done a bit of traveling of France while I've been here so far. I've been to Toulouse and Bordeaux and Paris has been my favorite so far. It's my favorite French city after La Rochelle, of course. After La Rochelle, I want to clear that up. La Rochelle c'est à la fois le meilleur pour moi, mais so it's really quite magical. I loved everything about Paris.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And what's the things that you like the most in La Rochelle? Because I think it's kind of different than Galway.
It is. It's a little different. It's coastal like Galway. It's a coastal town. So it's similar in that sense, but I like how small it is. It's very charming. You walk around and I can see a lot of people that I know and recognize, and I can say hello, bonjour, that kind of thing. So that's really nice. I love the beaches, but I am from Galway.
Yeah.
It's very similar to where I'm from, so it's kind of like a home away from home kind of thing for me. So it's really nice.
At Galway, in Galway it's way colder than in La Rochelle.
It's actually not. You love to say this all the time, but Galway is not much colder. It's actually quite the same. The temperature and the weather is very similar.
Because for me, you're crazy.
No.
To explain in French, pour expliquer, c'est que pendant un moment donné, donc il est arrivé vers septembre, il me dit, you told me that you are going swimming every day.
Yes.
Il allait nager, pour ceux qui connaissent à La Rochelle, au minime.
Oui.
Principalement au minime, tous les jours. Mais tous les jours, même quand il faisait pas forcément beau, pour moi il est fou. So you say that it's the same temperature, but I disagree because every time when I see you at university, et à chaque fois que je le vois à l'université, il a un t-shirt, non, en manteau.
Je pas le short très souvent. Mais j'ai nagé pour, je pense, 30 jours d'affilée et tu m'appelles fou. Vraiment.
Yeah, mais tu es fou. You're crazy.
Un peu, peut-être.
And did you? I have the answer, but not the people who are listening to the podcast. But did you meet other Irish guys in La Rochelle?
Yes. So I came over here with two of my friends from university, and they were studying French with me. So I came over with them, and we're quite friendly. I suppose we were friendly back home, but we did become quite close over here. And then I've just met I met a couple of Irish people over here also. So we were a little bit of a tight-knit group, and then it was really nice to meet them over here, it's kind of to keep that home kind of aspect, you know.
Yeah, nice. And we know that Irish pubs are very famous, I think, everywhere, but notably in France.
Yes.
So we have several Irish pubs in La Rochelle, and I think you have a link with one of them.
I have a lot of experience in these pubs.
You have the Irish connection with the Irish pubs in La Rochelle, so can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I came over here on a holiday in May, and I met up with the boss in General Humbert's. His name is Pepe, and I was speaking to him, telling him I was coming over on an exchange, and he offered me work in that bar. So I was really happy to kind of take up a few shifts and make a bit of money while I was over here to fund everything else, all the trips and all the nights out. So yeah, I worked with him for a little bit this semester, and I've really enjoyed that. Working in a French bar it's actually quite different to Ireland. You might not believe it, but it's not the same. It's a very different experience.
Yeah. Donc pour reprendre un peu le français, il y a un bar donc au quartier Saint-Nicolas à La Rochelle, pour ceux qui connaissent, qui s'appelle Général Imbert, qui est notamment très connu pour les soirées étudiantes. Donc like this bar, Général Imbert, is very famous for student party, and notably with ESN, Erasmus Student Network.
Mm-hmm.
Et donc il a réussi à avoir un travail là-bas, et donc dès que je vais en soirée, je vois Harry to negotiate some drinks.
I know, some shots maybe.
Yeah. And you just talk about an interesting fact, like the cost of life, like because you earn some money with the bar, so that's nice. Now, is the cost of life more expensive in La Rochelle than in Galway?
So yeah, it's an interesting question, but it's not necessarily like for general things, day-to-day kind of costs. It's not. It's a little, well, it actually might be a little bit more expensive than Galway, but living costs, I found, as in rent prices, are much cheaper over in France, over here in La Rochelle. Like if I was to rent a place like I have here back in Galway, it might cost me 500, 600 euros. It's like, it's gone crazy back in Ireland, but it's quite reasonable over here. So I found that's nice, and it's okay, manageable.
Okay, and so we know that sometimes it can be difficult to study and live abroad. I experienced it in the USA a few months ago, and even if you like traveling, meet people, sometimes it can be difficult. So I have a question for you. What's the hardest part about living or studying abroad?
I'd definitely say that the hardest part was just purely missing home. Like I'm over here in La Rochelle, I'm having a really fun time, and I wouldn't swap it for anything. Like I'm really happy, but just like seeing what's going on back home, calling my parents, calling my family, and knowing what's going on back there, it does make me miss it and miss being home with everyone. So I'm quite excited to go home, but I come back in January, and I'm looking forward to that too. So
but your parents they went in La Rochelle a few weeks ago.
Yes, they did. They came to visit me, and that was quite fun.
Yeah.
I gave them a tour of all the Irish bars.
Yeah, of course. You know well the bar. more than me.
Absolutely.
After 3 years.
Definitely.
And did they like La Rochelle?
Yeah, they loved it. They really loved it. It was still August, or no, sorry, it wasn't August at that point. It was October, and the weather was beautiful here. It was like 22, 24 degrees, so they were really happy. We got a great weekend for it, and I took them out to Ile-de-Ré and to different spots around La Rochelle, so it was really nice.
Yeah, that's cool. And so I guess you're happy to come back to Ireland for Christmas and the New Year.
Yeah.
And you told me this morning at the gym that you will go to a rugby game, and we know that in La Rochelle rugby is very, very important. Yes. What's your relation with rugby? Because I know that in Ireland it's very important too, and you are going to see a game Leinster against Stade Rochelet. So what's your relation with rugby? Do you like it?
I enjoy rugby, but I don't have a strong connection with it. Like I would have watched it a little bit while I was a kid, but I never really got into it that much. My older brother loves it. A lot of my family are really into it, but I just never really got into it. And I know that the Irish people and the French people listening are gonna hate me for saying this. So
but you can tell your family that who are listening to the podcast that Stade Rochelet will beat Leinster.
And I hope so.
So you will be for you will be supporting La
yeah.
Stade Rochelet?
I will be supporting
Yeah.
Rochelle because I'm from Connacht. I'm from Galway, so Connacht is our team and Leinster will be our rivals. So
Okay.
although it's not that competitive, it's still rivals. So
Yeah, okay.
I'll be going for La Rochelle.
Okay, nice. And let's get back to the university. What do you think of the French educational system? Is it easier or harder compared to Ireland? Sorry.
So the Irish education system is, I found better than over here. I thought that, so the university isn't bad per se, but I found it's not very well organized. It's a little better back home in Ireland. The university I'm in Galway is quite good for teaching and organizing different kind of events. So it is a little worse over here, but it's quite challenging as well at that, because I'm studying with French students. Le texte dramatique et la littérature comparée, c'est très difficile. Like it's really difficult. So
Even for us.
yeah, a lot of people have told me that these classes would be difficult even in like your native language, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Et dans ta classe, tu es in French.
Oui.
Dans ta classe, tu es qu'avec des étudiants internationaux comme toi, ou tu es aussi avec des étudiants français?
Non, j'ai étudié avec, pour la plupart des autres étudiants français. Il y a des étudiants internationaux aussi, comme je sais qu'il y a une femme de Barbados et des autres pays européens, mais pour la plupart c'est des étudiants français. Donc
Okay.
le prof il apprend seul en français, et ouais, c'est difficile.
But the teachers are there to help you if you need it?
A little, yeah, I suppose so. I could probably reach out to them a little more, maybe. But they are quite helpful when you ask for a little bit of help, you know.
Okay. And what are your plans after this year abroad? Like, do you have to finish college in Galway, or
Yes.
are you going to master, or what's the plan?
So I do another year in university after this. So
Okay.
my degree is a 4-year program. So I'll finish my degree, and after that, I have to tell you, I have no idea. I really don't know what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna study, if I will continue a master's, if I will start work immediately. I don't know. I have no plans yet. So.
Yeah. But I think if you want to work, we have a place at General Anglais.
I think that's true. That's very true. So.
And so before we talked about the hardest part about living and studying abroad, but now what's the best part or parts? Because I think you have a lot of parts,
Yeah.
good parts about living and studying abroad. So can you talk about that?
So I can speak on a few things. So the independence was huge. For me, being abroad in a different country, I've no kind of, I didn't really have many friends coming over here. I had some that I had made, but I was completely not completely alone, but I was alone. And I'm in a studio apartment. It's living for myself, doing all these different kind of things. But also the people over here, I've said it before and I'll say it again, like, everyone that I've met over here has been so great, so nice. I've made friends for life, and it's just that's a really nice thing. There are two things anyways that I really have enjoyed about La Rochelle.
Yeah, that's nice. And it was not too complicated to meet other people, and notably French people. Like, you're an international student in a city and a country that you do not know.
Yeah.
Maybe it can be complicated sometimes to go talk to them, and notably because like you are not fluent in French, so like you didn't have the language barrier.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
You did not have it.
I suppose I did. I tried to just be as outgoing as possible for the first 2 or 3 weeks of college, and you know that has continued. Has continued
it was
all the
more
way
2
through.
or 3 months.
Yeah, I think so. Like my full time in La Rochelle. But just to like meet people and make as much of an effort as possible to speak to everyone and get to know them and try and make some friends, because I'm here to kind of do that. I think that's what it's all about, so that's kind of I was just outgoing. I went to all the ESN kind of events in the first couple of weeks, just spoke to people. Oh, what are you doing tomorrow? Maybe we could go play basketball, we could go to the gym like you, or go for a drink.
But basketball, I think you have to train more.
Not at all.
It's not an Irish sport, I think. And talking about the nightlife, how is the nightlife in La Rochelle or in France in general compared to Galway?
So I found that now my city in Galway, it's quite actually early, the nightlife. So we go out and we finish up like it is still early in the morning, but it's quite early compared to France. Like, you guys party late, like from 9 o'clock all the way through. I've had so much fun in the bars over here. La Rochelle is really nice, like between your different like nightclubs and the Irish bars, going to Le Duc on Viaport, these kind of things. Like, it's just really fun and chill. It's like a chill night out,
Yeah, I think you're famous in La Rochelle. Like, people like they see you every night out.
That's not a great thing. Yeah. I don't think that's a good thing.
And I have a question now. If you have to choose between Guinness, so one of the most famous alcohol in Ireland. Oh, it's difficult to say it.
Ireland.
And if you have to choose between Guinness and Ricard, what would you choose?
Oh, now 3 months ago, that would be an easy answer. I would say Guinness, definitely, but it's a much more difficult question to answer now, but I still have to go with Guinness. I'm an Irish man. I have to choose the pint of Guinness.
You have still like a few months in France, so I think your mind can change.
That's possible as well, because I do love Ricard.
Yeah, at the beginning, I remembered, like, you told me, no, it's disgusting and it was horrible, and now you like it more than me.
I know, absolutely. It's €2 in the bars, guys, that's why.
Yeah, that's why I think I like it too. And let's get back to I would like to talk about the administrative part before coming to France. It was not too complicated, all the administrative part, like find an apartment, just stuff like this before arriving in France. How was it?
It was actually quite difficult. I was lucky because it probably wasn't as difficult for me as it was for other people, but I had some issues with Cruise when I was coming over. Like, Cruise is the accommodation, and thankfully my university really helped me back in Galway with sorting out a lot of these issues, but there was so much application to do, just like address, not even address, that's not as far as it goes, but between learning agreements and contracts and this kind of thing, it was quite difficult, but I got here in the end. It wasn't the end of the world,
Yeah, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Le Crous, alors I will explain like how I met you, and because I know what difficulties the other students had. Du coup, pour vous expliquer un petit peu, j'ai travaillé avec les relations internationales de la Rochelle Université et j'ai été tuteur d'un groupe de 10 étudiants internationaux, principalement un groupe d'indonésiennes, Harry et d'autres étudiantes. Et c'est vrai que j'ai vite remarqué qu'en fait le Crous c'était vraiment un peu le problème principal dans les démarches. Très compliqué de communiquer avec eux. Même entre l'université et le Crous, c'était difficile de communiquer. Donc entre les étudiants en plus qui parlent pas couramment français, because the emails were in French.
Yeah.
So complicated to communicate with the Crous. I think it can be stressful when you arrive in a foreign country.
Yeah.
You don't talk that much the language, so it can be very stressful.
Yeah. Non, la première nuit, j'ai dû rester dans un hôtel près de Crous. C'est comme it's so bad.
Yeah,
They're so
I
bad.
remember you
It's
told
so
me by
annoying.
message I cannot stay more than one night at the hotel. So it's why I try to help you. And when I arrived
And you did,
at
thank you.
the cruise, like I saw all the students of my group. I was like,
So
okay,
many,
it's
so
not
many.
not only Harry. It's like everyone
Yeah.
has some problems with the cruise.
Yeah.
So that's good. But I think you can improve your French, and according to me, in like 5-6 months you will be fluent.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. My French definitely has improved since I got over here.
Mm.
Now, at a spoken level and even listening, it was not very good when I arrived in September. And just trying to speak as often as I can to different people, working in General Humberts has been quite like beneficial also, just to speak and to different clients and to serve drinks. Although it's very like similar what you have to say all the time, like vous voulez quelque chose, tu prends quoi, c'est facile.
I think the most important thing when you learning and speaking foreign language is to be understood. And like even if when you're talking to me or to someone else, you are doing some French mistakes, like some mistakes that French people can do as well.
Yeah.
But I understand everything. So it's just like little mistakes, but I can understand everything. It's correct.
Yeah.
So it's the most important thing.
That's good, yeah.
Is the Irish accent difficult?
The Irish language?
Like, yeah, but it's English.
No, so there's an Irish language
Really?
as well as English, yeah. So
I didn't know.
Yeah. There's an Irish language. We all have to study it back in Ireland. Yeah.
That's interesting. Can you like say more about that?
You want me to speak in Irish?
No, like explain, like, because I did not know that.
Oh, of course, yeah. So all students study Irish up to the end of secondary school in Ireland. It's not taught to a great level, but some students will learn it better than others. In primary school, some students will I went to an all Irish speaking primary school, so I was taught all through Irish and not through English at all. And I think it's really important, actually, the Irish language. It's nice over here. It's like we have a secret language. No one can speak it.
Of course.
No one can speak it. Like even in Ireland, some places it's quite difficult to understand. There's different accents.
Okay, so can you say something that only like your friends or family will understand it in the podcast?
Yeah, Giagwich, Harry is anam dum, August.
What?
Yeah. Tom, I can't even speak it that well.
It seems like in Harry Potter or something like this.
Yeah, all of the students over here say that it sounds like the Sim language, like Simlish. It's really gibberish to a lot of people.
But it's very interesting because I really didn't know that there was English Irish language.
Yeah.
Hey, that's interesting.
It is. It's cool.
And talking about French language, are you listening to maybe French singers, French musicians? Because I know that you're a musician.
Yes.
Only pianist, or you're doing more instruments?
No, I play the piano and I sing. That's my thing. I can't play the guitar or anything like that. I'd love to in the future, but at the moment I'm just a pianist.
C'est déjà bien le piano. Il faut savoir, donc Harry, où il fait du piano et il chante, et la dernière fois, donc la semaine dernière, il a pu faire une sorte de petit concert à McNulty's, donc another Irish pub.
Oui.
Very famous, like a lot of international students there.
Yeah.
It's very famous for international students, McNulty's.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when some Indonesian students, they have been in La Rochelle 2 years ago, and they went there with all international students.
Yeah.
So I think it's very famous for that.
It's a nice pub, yeah. It's really nice.
So you did a concert?
I did. It was really fun.
And how was it to do like a concert with a piano while singing in France?
Yeah, so, well, I suppose back home in Galway, I play it quite a lot. I play weekly in a pub in the Sliding Rock, and it was nice to be able to do it over here. I didn't get an opportunity until quite late in the semester. I just went into McNulty's and I asked the boss, by any chance could I play on this random Tuesday, just to maybe bring in some business for your pub, and he said, yeah, sure. So I asked a few people to come. A lot of people did end up coming in the end. It was a really nice night, and I had really a lot of fun. I love playing. I love singing.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Thank you.
It was very, very good. And no, like we talked about it just before the podcast. Yeah. You have to next concert. You have to add some French songs.
Oh, absolutely! Yeah, you just showed me this morning Les Champs-Élysées.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to learn that one.
And Charles Aznavour.
Yeah.
Edith Piaf.
Absolutely.
So French concert, and no, I will bring people.
Yes, a French concert. Wow, it'll be a while until I do a French only concert now.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah, soon maybe.
So now that you've got the experience, what would you recommend to a student who hesitates to move abroad?
I would definitely say that we should not hesitate at all. It was the best year of my life. Well, it's only been half a year now, but
of course,
there will be another half, and I have had the best time. It's been so fun, and it was just great. Definitely a great decision, and couldn't recommend it enough.
Yeah, so even if it's stressful sometimes, like you should go.
Yeah. The stress can get to you while you're over here with college and stuff, but I've made up for it in other aspects, in making friends and just enjoying myself. It's been really fun.
Yeah, it's like no risk, no story.
Exactly.
You have to go, even if it's stressful.
Definitely, no risk, no story. Perfect.
And so, thank you for all this episode. And to conclude, I would like to ask you: can you tell me a quote that inspires you every day?
So I suppose a quote. I wouldn't say that I come back to it all the time, but one that I heard while I was younger, it kind of did resonate with me a little bit, was it's a Muhammad Ali quote, and it's suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. So
wow, nice.
It's very good, it's quite cool, and I'm gonna have to take inspiration from that now for my race coming up in April. Definitely, because I won't be able to live without it, you know.
Yeah, that's a good quote.
Yeah.
And do you want to say something to conclude, like maybe a message to your friends that are Irish friends or international friends that are listening to the podcast?
I'll just finish by saying, like, this is such a cool kind of thing. I'm really happy you asked me on this podcast, and thanks again for asking me. It was really fun, and I love La Rochelle and listen to Les Podcasts de Youenn.
Yeah, and you're the first international student that's coming for a podcast with
cool.
me.
So no, it's been all French people up to now.
Yeah, only French people.
Oh yes.
So you're the first podcast I'm doing in English. Bon, j'espère que vous avez quand même, même pour ceux qui parlent pas forcément anglais, j'imagine que vous n'avez pas forcément écouté l'épisode. Mais en tout cas, ceux qui parlent anglais ou even the international students, j'espère que vous avez quand même kiffé l'épisode. C'était un beau challenge pour Harry de faire un podcast déjà pour la première fois, parce que ce n'est pas forcément facile, mais encore plus un peu en français. Et pour moi, c'était aussi un gros challenge. Je sais que mon accent est pas parfait, et encore plus avec le stress et un peu le fait de gérer un podcast en français déjà, c'est pas si facile que ça, mais en anglais encore moins, donc c'est comme ça. Je sais que l'accent est pas parfait, j'ai dû faire des erreurs d'anglais, parce que voilà, mais bon, après je me suis fait comprendre. I told you that we did a break, I told you that my English was broken.
Yeah, I heard.
So I need to practice more. Mais voilà, j'espère qu'en tout cas que vous avez kiffé l'épisode, que ça vous a intéressé, que pour les Français qui parlent anglais, qui veulent partir à l'étranger, que ça vous a motivé à partir. Vraiment, encore une fois, c'est pas le premier épisode où je le dis, mais partez à l'aventure, vous posez pas trop de questions, faut y aller, et à la clé c'est vraiment des expériences de dingue, et Harry vient d'en témoigner. So thank you for the Irish listeners.
Parfait.
Thank you everyone, et n'oubliez pas de vous abonner si ça vous a plu sur Spotify ou sur votre plateforme d'écoute favorite, Deezer, Apple Podcast et j'en passe.
Yeah.
Et n'hésitez pas aussi à mettre 5 étoiles si vraiment le podcast vous plaît. Ça me permet d'être mieux référencé et de toucher plus de personnes. Donc voilà, il y a de...
Make sure to follow the podcast and subscribe and rate and all of that stuff.
Yeah, rate, but only 5 stars.
Only 5 stars. Yeah, don't give us 1 star.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and thank you, Harry.
Thank you, Youenn.